Hello everyone, how are you doing today? So today's videos I discuss emotional triggers and 5 steps that you can take to help manage those triggers. So let's say I can't find my phone and I'm looking all over the house and I'm getting angry about that. I'm being triggered because, let's face it, I have a phone addiction. I need my phone now. And I might just start blaming my spouse, my husband, my poor husband. Doesn't know what's going on, but I blame him. You moved it on me. You put it somewhere on me. Or I blame my children for having clutter all over the house, and it could be under one of their piles of homework or one of their piles of video games, whatever I've got going on, because, I have no clutter in my house. None of that's mine. Why do you think I film outdoors all the time? All right, anyway, so I'm getting triggered over losing my phone, and I'm blaming others, and I may have acted on that blame and accused them of things or even yelled at them. Then later, I find my phone on my nightstand in my bedroom, sitting on the charger right where I put it. Right where it belongs, actually. So has anything like this ever happened to you? Well, I'm about to give you 5 steps that you can do to help manage your triggers so that you're less likely to jump to conclusions, blame others, and more likely to find a rational solution to your issue and actually solve your problems with less drama. So be sure to stick around to the end, because I have a special bonus meditation just for you that you can use anytime so that you can be able to choose your emotional reaction in situations. So hi, if you don't know me, my name's KuanYin. I'm here uploading for you guys 3 times a week. Mondays I usually tap into my intuition and pull a few cards to help that intuition bring itself forward to find a message that wants to be shared. And Wednesdays I go in depth on a topic of my choice, and today's topic is emotional triggers. And Fridays I try to keep it fun and uplifting with something a little different than the usual. All right, so what exactly are emotional triggers? Well, an emotional trigger usually happens when we feel we're not getting a need met, or something important is being withheld from us or taken away from us. The faster that you can identify a strong emotion welling up within you, such as anger or fear, the sooner that you can decide whether or not the threat is real, and whether or not you want that emotion or you would like to choose another emotion so that you can react in a more productive manner. So here are 5 steps to help you overcome emotional triggers in your life that lead you to making better decisions instead of acting rashly. And over time, as you learn how to do this more and more and put it into practice better each time, those tidal waves of emotion that come and rock our lives even themselves out and become a nice calm sea. Few waves here and there, but the big waves that overturn our boat don't happen as much when we put these steps into practice and learn how to control our triggers. It's best to go through these steps at a time when you're not being triggered, such as right now, and to think it through now when you don't have an issue coming up. As a matter of fact, the only time that exists is right now. So as we go through these steps in a peaceful time, it's much easier to identify and act better during times when we are triggered. So the first step is to accept responsibility for your actions. But wait, if I accept responsibility, that puts me at fault. Well, yes, and that's a good thing, because if it's your problem, if it's your fault, you are the best one to be able to solve it, and you will be able to solve it much better by knowing it's there. Only by knowing that there's a problem and identifying exactly what it is can we change it. And by acting responsibly, we are telling ourselves that we are powerful. We are masters of our actions, we are masters of our reactions, and we can change our reactions. We are not victims of our emotions. When you seek to identify what is triggering you, how you feel in the moment, you give yourself the chance to feel differently. You give yourself the choice to choose a different emotion if you want. You will also have more clarity on what you need to do or what you need to ask for to change your circumstance. What would your life look like if you were in control of your emotions? What would your life look like if you're in control of your reactions? How would you feel if you lived your life with choices? If these questions inspire you to diligently practice the steps for emotional freedom, listen on. So the example at the beginning of this video where I lost my cell phone, how do I take responsibility for that? Well, I'm in charge of my own things. I'm in charge of taking care of my own items and putting them where they belong, such as on the phone charger next to my bed. And so if I take responsibility and I make sure that I put it away where it belongs, then I know I can go to that place where I'm supposed to have it and it will be there. So I take responsibility and I won't even lose my phone. You know, if I take responsibility for where it is, and if I misplace it, it's not someone else's problem if they put their clutter on top of it, because my phone then becomes part of the clutter. Right? Right? Am I right? So I also take responsibility for not remembering where I put my phone as well. And so if I'm taking this responsibility after the event already happened, I find it on the charger, I can go back and sincerely apologize to my family for accusing them of moving it on me or hiding it on me, and asking forgiveness for yelling at them when they didn't even do a thing. And if I can think of these steps as I'm being triggered, as I'm getting all riled up in anger over having lost my phone, remembering that first off, it's my responsibility, will take that urge to react to my family away so that I focus on the real problem of trying to find my phone rather than blaming others. And when I take those steps, there'll be a lot more peace in my house. All right, so that's step number 1. So step number 2. The second step is to recognize that you are having an emotional reaction as soon as it begins to appear in your body. Learning to recognize signs and symptoms that you are having a reaction. Think of it like an allergic reaction, only it's an emotional reaction. But still, there are body changes to look for in that reaction. So for me personally, what happens to me when I get triggered by something like that is my heart starts racing. I get anxious, I get anxiety, and the heart starts pumping, and my shoulders rise, and my chest becomes tight, and depending on the type of issue it is, I might get a tight little ball right in my gut, in the solar plexus area. So those are signs that I look for. Other things that might happen to you might be tight muscles other places of the body, like your jaw might get tight, you find yourself scowling, or perhaps you find yourself taking short little breaths or holding your breath even, things like that. So identifying when you become triggered, when you find yourself in times of immediate stress, what does your body do? And cement that into your mind. Okay, so when this happens and my heart starts pumping, I know that that's a sign I can look for. So as I'm looking for my phone and then my heart starts racing, I'll know that's like a trigger in my mind that my emotions are being triggered. And perhaps I can take a pause right then and there, slow down, take a nice deep breath, and feel the feelings in my body, the physical feelings in my body, becoming present and becoming aware of the fact that I'm becoming triggered, so that I don't have that emotional reaction to go blaming and yelling. So that's step number 2. The third step is to determine what triggered the emotion. What do you think you lost, or what do you think that you're not getting that you need? The strengths that have helped us in life are also our greatest emotional triggers when we feel someone is not honoring one of them. When our brain perceives that someone has taken away or plans to take away one of these important things that we hold on to away from us, our emotions get triggered. Some of our common needs that, if we think they're not being met, could be triggered or could have an emotional response, could be a need for acceptance, a need to be included, a need for respect, a need to be understood, a need to be needed or valued, a need to be right, a need to be in control, a need for autonomy, independence, a need for balance and consistency, order, predictability, the need for attention, the need for love. And there are many more. So, thinking back to the time you felt triggered, get curious about it. Make a list right now of the top 3 needs you have that, when they're not met, trigger an emotional reaction. Now, looking back at my cell phone instance that I used at the start of this video, what do I feel was lost or taken away from me? My phone! Duh! I need that phone. What I feel I need right now that's not in my hands is my phone. Okay, but what's deeper than that? What need do I have that's not being met? Well, I lost my sense of control. I don't know where it is. I can't do what I want right now. I've lost control of what I was planning to do. I've lost consistency in my life. It's always right on me, or it's being charged. I've lost order. The house is a mess. It drives me nuts, and losing my cell phone basically was an excuse to complain about all the clutter in the house. Okay, so those are my top 3 examples of things that I need that are needs of mine that are not being met when I get triggered. I want you to pause the video right now, and I want you to list your own top 3 things, thinking back to the last few times you've gotten triggered, what top 3 needs were not being met. Did you feel like you needed to be in control and you weren't? Did you feel like you weren't getting the support you wanted? Did you feel like you were being ignored? Did you feel like you weren't getting the love that you deserve? Did you feel like you weren't being respected? You know, that list that I just gave you, what top 3 needs are not being met when you get triggered? So how did my sense of my need of control and my need of order not being met, what did that make me do? It made me react poorly to my family, yelling and screaming at them and blaming them. How do I feel they were taking away my needs? I thought that my family, with their thoughtlessness and their chaos, were taking away my sense of control, consistency, and order. So for example, the need to have order, the need to be in control, the need for consistency are my top 3 triggers that can lead to the very thing I fear the most, losing control. You have these needs because at some point in your life they served you well. For example, your experiences may have taught you that success in life depends on maintaining control. Establishing a safe environment and having people around who appreciate your intelligence helps keep you safe. However, the more you are attached to having control, safety, and being seen as smart, the more your brain will be on the lookout for circumstances that deny you those needs. The unmet need or threat becomes an emotional trigger. So the 4th step is to choose what you want to feel and what you want to do. So emotional triggers may never fully go away, but they can become easier over time. The best thing that you can do is to quickly identify when you're being triggered and then choose what to do about it. Once you've identified your main needs, the things that you fear most that you could lose have been taken away or not being given. When you do find yourself triggered, ask yourself, is this need really being threatened? So I feel like I'm losing control. I feel like there's too much chaos. Is this really true? Yeah, the house, it might be a mess, but there's basic order and respect and love in this house. And I'm in charge of a lot of things in my life. One of the main of those being my own emotions and my reactions. So if I recognize this, then I know that I won't be establishing more order and peace by reacting in the way that I would otherwise. And if I really feel that that is an issue, then I can still calmly address the immediate need of my cell phone, going and looking for that. And then later, at a time when I'm no longer triggered by the loss of my cell phone, I can sit down with my family and discuss with them. Maybe we can get this clutter issue solved and work together on keeping a nice, clean house. Step number 5 is to actively shift your emotional state. Actively shift your emotional state. So you recognize the emotion you are currently feeling, and you choose what emotion you want to feel. You put down the one, and you pick up the other. And I'd like to lead you on a little exercise to help demonstrate this. And this is a short meditation practice we can do together. And you're invited to follow along doing these steps with me. So I'm going to start by gently closing my eyes, or perhaps having a soft gaze down in front of me. I'm noticing my breath, whether it feels shallow or deep, fast or slow, just noticing. And as I notice my breath, I'm intentionally deciding I'm going to deepen my breath, taking slow, deep breaths as I relax all my muscles, keeping my mind on my breath. And now I'm going to bring up a triggering emotion. I invite you to choose your own, one that you struggle with. for my practice, I'm going to choose the feeling of not being in control. In my mind's eye, I hold out my hand, holding the thought in the palm of my hand that I am not in control. Imagine it like a ball of energy in my hand, envisioning it in my hand, envisioning it causing my heart to race. I know it is a valid part of me. Feelings are not bad. Feelings just are what they are. So the feeling of not being in control is a valid part of me, and so is the feeling of peace. In my mind's eye, I imagine this ball of energy as the color orange in my hand, representing my fear of not being in control. And on the table in front of me, I see a ball of energy, the color of blue. This ball of energy that is blue on the table in front of me is inner peace. These are both valid feelings that I own, and I have the choice right now which one I choose to feel. Right now, I choose to feel inner peace. I gently and lovingly set the orange ball down, my fear of losing control, down onto the table. I thank this ball of energy for its service to me, for any lessons it has taught me. And just as gently, just as lovingly, I pick up the blue, glowing ball of inner peace to hold. As I hold this glowing energy ball of inner peace, I thank it for being part of my life. I bring it closer to me, to my heart. I breathe in this nice feeling of inner peace, fully integrating it into myself, and exhaling, gently releasing any remains of the fear of not being in control. Taking another deep breath, I open my eyes and come back into this room. And that is step number 5 for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel down below. Give me a comment down below if you did the meditation and what you thought of it, or any other things that you would like to discuss with me. If you'd like to bring up a topic you'd like me to cover for the future, I'd love to hear it, and I will jump right on it. And all that being said, I love you guys so very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste. The second step. And the third step that we can do to determine